It's February 28th. It's about 7 a.m. in the morning. I've been tossing and turning all night. Um, Inexplicably. And I finally got up about an hour ago. It's raining in Los Angeles right now. And it's rather cold. It's not freezing, it's cold. I woke up freezing. I turned the heat up, and so 10, 15 minutes later, it felt as if my skin was burning. It just felt all red and as if it was burning. Um, Very odd for 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning. So I ended up taking clothes off, putting clothes back on, and no matter what I do, no matter what I put on or take off, I've got this feeling as if my skin is burning, it's all red, and and it's so intense that my hands are starting to sweat because of it, and it's meant to A, piss me off, and B, make me feel helpless, as if there's nothing I can do about it, and it's meant to frustrate me in that sense. So, here we are with the video camera because I can document it with the videotape. So, I'm here to document the medical discrepancies that I'm having, the attempts to corner me in the middle of the night to make me feel helpless, and talk about some of the things that they're getting away with that I'm not really happy about. First thing, microwave burns. Same burns I was just talking about. The redness, the sweating, comes up in multiple odd areas. You will end up with welts about that big. Varies in size depending on the area they attack. I get them right on my keister. For some reason, they like to target my butt, so I get them there. I've taken pictures of them, but I won't show them to you. Other people have pictures of areas that they can show on the internet, and they just look like heat rashes. They look like areas where you may have spilled boiling water on and burned that area. They look like irritated areas, and they're very red from the heat. And people on the internet discuss how people next door are shooting them through the wall and hitting them in those particular areas. Well, first, I got hit on my bum. I sit on my bum. How is anyone next door to me going to shoot me where I sit? Because I'm on top of it. So that theory doesn't fly. There's nobody with a potato gun next door shooting you. They have control of your brain, and they trick your brain into thinking that certain portions of your body need to be heated up. So they heat those areas up and they end up very red. And it looks as if only a certain portion of your body is getting hit with heat, the area of the heat that's affected by the heat. So it gives off the appearance, and it's very easy to believe, that you're being hit through the wall or from outside or the street or somewhere directly, and that's what's causing the redness. Well, that's not it. They have control of your brain. They're tricking your brain into being red in that area. Now, that takes care of microwave burns, so you know it's not your neighbor. It's them. Next thing you need to understand: they have control of your brain. They can see what you're thinking. not only can they see what you're thinking, they can apply energy to your brain to make you feel a certain way. And they can slide you up and down a scale using your moods to manipulate you even further. So, excuse me, that takes care of microwave burns. Next is gangstalking. They can talk to you. They can talk to your brain. They can talk to you while you're in a room full of people and nobody else can hear. They have the ability to mimic sounds that you've heard before. And they can make the sounds and the voices sound like somebody you know. Maybe your friend, maybe your parents, maybe your boss, maybe one of your neighbors. They can make that voice, that sound, identical to the person you think it is. So they can communicate with you while you think somebody else is talking to you. That causes all sorts of problems. It causes problems with colleagues at work, it causes problems with family members, it causes problems with neighbors, it causes problems with friends. When you think people are saying things about you, bad things about you, and they're actually not, it incites a disagreement and often you end up getting into it with either one of your colleagues or one of your neighbors or one of your family members, and it becomes an agreement that cannot be resolved without thorough communication, because one of the members is under the impression that another person said something that they didn't. So technically they could argue until the cows come home in regards to who actually said what. So now I have moved from 2 apartments because of the harassment with the neighbors. They got me good. Well, they did a very good job getting me. I thought one of my female neighbors had lost it in one apartment, and then I thought another neighbor was talking to me and yelling at me through the apartment wall. Both of which caused disagreements. I did not have the communication skills to work it out. It was easier for me just to move, so I moved. Now, looking back, and it's been 18 years, the reason I moved was because I was tricked. And I did not follow up with my neighbors and ask them what was going on and try and resolve the situation. Did not have the maturity, did not have the patience, and I did not have the know-how. They got me well, and I had to move twice. But I've wised up, and I know that they can mimic the voices and make it sound like my neighbor's yelling at me right now from out in the courtyard, and he's not. So if I thought I heard a neighbor yelling at me, I would go out there and I would ask him, is there something I can help you with? And I would confirm what I was hearing to avoid the pain of having to move and getting lost in that type of situation. The possibilities are limitless, and you just need to know that they can mimic the voices, and they can start a fight with your neighbors and the people you work with and your friends and with your family members. Their goal is to bring about as much confusion and strife to your life that they can. So they can study it, they can monitor it, they can study it from afar. They can make adjustments and manipulate you where they see fit. And your best interests are never their best interests. Their best interests, they think that it's going to be fun to study you while they torture you from afar and ruin your life, so they can watch how you react. That's all they want to do, pretty much. Okay, next thing is these mental hospital stints. There comes a time when you start to gain enough information from the harassment that they feel, oh, it's time for a mental hospital stint. They want to invalidate what you say, and they want you to appear crazy in front of your family and friends and neighbors and colleagues, all in hopes of torturing you from afar when you're in a position where you can do nothing about it. So I've actually been involved in the hospitals twice. And since I learned that gang stalking does not exist, and gang stalking is fabricated and manipulated, they're having trouble getting me into a mental hospital. August of 2016, they said it's time for you to go back into a hospital because it had been 12 years or something like that since I had been 13, 14 years since I had been in the hospital last, and because I had started to pick up on some of the things they do, and I was starting to get around them. August of 2016, they basically said that, and my response was, well, I don't appear delusional, and the only thing I would complain of if I went to an emergency room would be pain. Well, they weren't going to send me to the emergency room for pain because they knew that wasn't going to get me locked up on a 72-hour hold, and I wasn't going to appear delusional or crazy, so they didn't. So they've been going really, really hard since August of 2016. It's now February of 2019. It's been 2.5 years, and I feel like I'm dying because they want to get me locked up in a mental ward, which my sister's a psychiatrist. She says you don't qualify for it. You don't want to hurt anybody. You don't want to hurt yourself. You're medicated, and you're not delusional. There's just no reason for you to go in. They can't help you in there. They can't do anything for you that we're not doing for you already. So, but they're still under the impression that they want me in that hospital. So that's why I am disabled now, and they won't let me go anywhere. They won't let me go anywhere, and they hold me hostage with pain. They only let me eat one meal a day. They let me sleep 4 hours a night, and they constantly want to make me feel helpless and pissed off. And what I've heard is they're hoping that they keep up the pressure, I'll make some sort of mistake. And the mistake they want me to make is one that gets me locked up, and removes my physical freedom, even though I basically have none. I'm being held hostage. So my entire life has been screwed because of these idiots. 18 years of this. I'm 46. This has been 18 years of this. They hit me when I was 28. They have not let up. Not at one point were they concerned about my well-being and what was best for me in my life. They completely made it about themselves, and it's really, really sick what they're doing. So they're getting away with the gang stalking, and they're getting away with the electronic harassment. They're using electronic harassment as a form of mind control. It's invasive mind control. It is basically what they're doing. So you have all this stuff happen to you. It's set up, designed to make you feel helpless. And when you go to your friends, your family, they don't know what to do to help you out. And you go to a doctor immediately slaps a label on you, gives you medication, both of which are no help to you because the medication just doesn't work. The only medication that works is something that makes you drowsy and actually puts you to sleep, because when you're asleep, it's the only time you're going to get a break. And then they piss you off even further and force you to start looking to the internet for help. You start looking through the internet for help, you run into the web of disinformation that they've got listed on the internet. It is there to suck you in and confuse you as to what's real and what's not. It's also very scary stuff because they throw a lot of conspiracies in there, and they throw a lot of unsubstantiated things that people are doing in the world that are very, very scary. It's meant to intimidate you. All of it, most of it is all, excuse my language, bullshit. It's meant primarily to intimidate you because it's unsubstantiated, scary stuff that they're talking about. But the websites that are set up, and they are strategically spread out throughout the free world, unfortunately, are designed to disinform. Whether the owners of the sites or the moderators are unwittingly doing this or actually targets or agents themselves, which I will go into in a second, they are specifically designed to suppress information, the truth, as far as the gang stalking. I run into more trouble on these sites talking in these conference calls. As soon as I tell them that gang stalking is constructed in their mind, I get attacked from multiple directions. So the conference calls have people in there to keep the information down. When you start to talk about the truth, they attack that person and they call that person a perp. Or perpetrator, or person responsible for all of this. The websites keep the gang stalking and all the attempted mind, all that stuff, they keep listed and they support it and they back it up. So when you're going out to get help, friends and family, that doesn't work. Then you go to a doctor, that doesn't work. Then you go to the internet, you go, hey, I'm onto something. There are the people that are here that are seeing this, but this is intimidating, it's scary, and these people are telling me that this is the way it is, and I can't sway in my opinion one way or another, or I'm gonna get attacked by these people. Well, my way or the highway, don't respond to that. You've got to take things at for what you can confirm. I would have never believed that gang stalking was fake until experiencing it and realize, hey, I've done this before. I'm not going to go through this again. This guy's yelling at me down from below me in my apartment. I'm not going to knock on the door. I'm going to see what's going on with this guy, see if I can resolve the situation. That's how you deal with gang stalking. You don't get mad at the guy. You don't bang on the floor and instigate a disagreement that can escalate into something violent. You communicate, you talk to people, you express how you feel, but you don't attack people as a result. These websites swear up and down that there are agents out there to get you, and that gang stalking is real. And Catherine Horton actually told me on a recorded conference call line through Targeted Massachusetts that she had seen the intel protocol for gang stalking. Well, that doesn't exist because I just told you I've done this for 18 years. The two times I had to move because of gang stalking with my neighbors, that was my fault. That wasn't my neighbor's fault. That was my fault for not recognizing that they were mimicking the voices. Well, how does this woman have a protocol for physical gang stalking where people actually follow you around and harass you when it doesn't exist? It's made up in your mind. Idiot. So the woman outed herself as an intel target, like on a record line. I can't understand it. It makes no sense. These other quote unquote whistleblowers, like the Lighthouse, Richard Lighthouse, Karen Stewart, all there to reinforce the crap and the bullshit. And they're using their X whistleblower status to for credibility. They're all full of it. They're all out there. Ballsy. Now that I know it, they're exposed. They're going to get torn apart first. Now that they're out there doing this stuff and they've exposed it, they're the only ones that you're going to get close to as far as people who are going to be responsible for the harassment, or the people that are selling this crap on the internet, A, and B, going on. They're treated like celebrities, and they're the ones who are responsible. It's really sick. They're going on these conference calls. They're being praised by everybody as heroes when they're the ones that are selling the bullshit. Pull your head out of your ass and look around, you know? So they're getting away with this. They're getting away with the gangstalking, which is made up in your mind. They're getting away with the torture. They're getting away with all of this. And they're, and I know this, and they're holding me down, and they're basically just trying to piss me off and say, what are you going to do about it? Well, here I am, doing something about it. This is what I'm going to do about it. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to share with you what I've learned, because, gosh, I hope it saves your life, and I hope it keeps you from getting pissed off and hurting somebody else. And I hope this has an effect on the world, and I hope people listen to this, and I hope it gets around, because I've got a really good feel for the technology, and I have a lot of experience with a lot of this bullshit, you know, so I can tell you a lot about not only what the technology can do, but how nasty they are, and what kind of tricks that they pull off. So I'm going to backtrack, make sure. I wanted to talk about gangstalking, completely fake, made up in your mind. The websites are all set up as disinformation to scare you and foster information that's going to keep you feeling helpless and lost and confused as far as the real source is concerned. The whistleblowers that claim that they are on your side and doing something for you, specifically Dr. Catherine Horton, Richard Lighthouse, and Karen Stewart. I'll give you more later, but those are the top three. Anybody that adamantly claims that it's the intelligence agencies that are doing this to you is telling you it's not the intelligence agencies that are doing it to you. They want you to think that, and for whatever reason, but that seems to be the case. Electronic harassment is another form of mind control. 7 in the morning, I'm making half-an-hour videotapes, complaining. The last thing I will talk about, if you do want to stop electronic harassment, I would hire private investigators, because the government's not going to do this. I would hire private investigators. I would go after Karen Stewart, Richard Lighthouse, and Catherine Horton. I would find out how they get paid. I would somehow get some sort of ex-cop who's a private investigator to see if we get a hold of their bank records, find out where their money is coming from. Because they are sustaining the crap that's on the internet. They're sustaining the bullshit, and they do it every month. They make appearances on conference calls. They have to be compensated for doing that, and you will find it basically if you search their finances. You find out where it's coming from. Then you match up the patents to the source of the income supporting the disinformation, and that will stop electronic harassment. It's the only way to do it, because you're being hit from afar with a wireless weapon. You have no proof whatsoever. You can't prove anything. All I can prove is that they're lying to you. I know it. And they've written it and they put it on the internet. There's your proof. Gangstalking is not real. Anybody who adamantly swears up and down that gangstalking exists and that people that are chasing you and following you is responsible for your harassment in one way or another. So I'm going to try and take a break. I think I hit all of my points. I feel actually a little bit better venting. So thanks for listening, and good luck to everyone getting through the day, the week, the month, the year, and electronic harassment.